What the hell? What the hell? Let's go live with a minute or two. What the hell? Hey, guys and gals, what's going on? Uh-oh. Sanchez, home run. Let's watch the last out together, huh? Gary Sanchez just hit one out. Pretty nice shot. What is it, 6-3 now? So they have one out left to score 4 runs. Let's see if they actually do it. Yeah, and they lost 2 out of 3 to Baltimore. Yeah, and now we have three against the Mets, which always give us fits. Then they have 1 replay game against the Twins. So, and then they have a bunch of other games against American League East as well. I think they have Cleveland, and they have Baltimore again, and I think they have Toronto again. Well, they have Boston, so we'll see how they do. But let's stay together for the last out. Might as well. But some folks, have been making comments. I want to be impartial too here because I know people get frustrated with Boone. I just want to keep some perspective because he has two 100-game win seasons with the Yankees, and he didn't get as much credit as the players did. Now, the way they're playing now, he's getting most of the fault and not the players. So I want to be reasonable with that. If the blame's got to go across the board, just like the credit's got to go across the board. So I think in all fairness, I don't want to put this all on Boone. And the fact is, somebody else said it too. Where the hell's Hal Steinbrenner? Where the hell's Brian Cashman? This is what I detest about like executives. And this reminds me, and I spent almost 2 decades in corporate America. When things are doing great, the big wigs at the top, we. When things go awry, when things go downtown, they're nowhere to be found. And this is what drives me nuts. And this is what I detest about Hal Steinbrenner. And George Steinbrenner would be all over the place, right? He'd be all over the place. He'd be on the field. Like, he'd be interviewing with Meredith Morakovitz like every day. But Hal's nowhere. Where the hell is Hal Steinbrenner? Boone is facing all the fire here. And those guys are nowhere to be found, which is, it's unfair. It's unfair, in my opinion. So, and again, as a diehard Yankee fan, it's difficult to watch baseball like this. Just like it's difficult for all of you to watch baseball like this. It's not fun. It really isn't fun. But, Nestor Cortes did pitch well. He went 6. Let's see. I got him here. 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 runs, 5 K. I take 5 strikeouts. I take that from him all the time. So, and Sal Romano came in his first game up as a Yankee. Right now, at least 2/3 innings pitched, give 2 hits and a run. So that's when the Blue Jays took the lead and never relinquished it, really. 1 walk and a strikeout. Wandy came in an inning and a third, 1 hit, 2 Ks, 3 walks. He was frustrated. He walked in a bases loaded run as well. And then Andrew Heaney, of course, came in through some batting practice for 4 hits and 2 runs in 1 inning. So, it's feeling it's Christmas in September with Andrew Heaney. He should just wear his Santa Claus hat. Yeah, here you go, guys. Here you go. Here's some meatballs. It's just, you should be working at a damn pizzeria and just make meatballs and throw them at people all day so they can just smash the meatballs. This is ridiculous, man. I was just saying too, Robert, like Steinbrenner, you always knew where you stood with him, and that's one thing I appreciated. Yeah, he got himself into trouble because he had a big mouth and he just overstepped sometimes, but he always did whatever he needed to do to make this team. Oh my God, is this back-to-back home runs here? Luke Voigt just hit a home run. 6-4. This would be completely nuts. I don't want to jinx it, so I'm not going to say anything, but you know what I mean. It would be completely nuts, but I'll take back-to-back. I mean, some of the offense is waking up a little bit. But, it's nice to see. But this is also, Luke Voigt needs to play a little bit more regularly. If you play him and Rizzo, you find the way to play both of them at the same time. You put Luke Voigt at DH and Rizzo first. They will both produce. Voigt produces better when he's playing regularly. So, and he has a higher upside in his offensive, part of his game than Rizzo does. Rizzo's much better defensive first baseman. There's no doubt about that. One of the elite defensive first basemen, no doubt. But it's nice to hit. It's nice to see Sanchez and Voigt go back to back. So, but yeah, I'm hoping it's not too little, too late, Laurie. You're right about that. So, but maybe it'll give them a little bit of momentum here to going into the Mets. The Mets always give the Yankees fits. So, and it's just, I'm not looking. I don't know what to expect now. It's a disappointing season. I'm disappointed in their performance. so many of them, and it's just they need to make a lot of changes this offseason. And as much as I appreciate analytics, I do, and it does benefit in a lot of ways. So Daly is right there. But I also do think the Yankees tend to neglect other components of baseball fundamentals when they rely too much on it. Analytics is not the only thing, because it doesn't work the same way for every team, because every lineup is constructed differently. Every rotation, every roster is constructed differently. So analytics is not the end-all be-all, but it is important. It is. Yeah, I mean, strike 3, Gio. Game over. So, Yankees just swept by the Blue Jays. 4-game sweep. See, this is the other thing, and I mentioned earlier. Gio's not performing. Neither is Gleyber Torres, right? So, you got to have Odor in there. His bat's been better. You got to have Velasquez in there. His bat's been better. Where the hell's Oswald Peraza? Give the kid a chance. Give Greg Allen a chance. Joey Gallo, he's got like 200 strikeouts and 140 at-bats. The math doesn't even make sense. But it's this type of stuff. They have guys who can contribute, but they're not utilizing them. And this is the other thing that drives me nuts about the Yankees. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know. It's very frustrating. The Yankees are just not playing well. And this is a very streaky team. I don't know how they won 13 games straight, and now they're 2-10 in the last 12 games. 2-10. Now, Boston did not play today, so the Yankees lost a half a game in the wild card. Now they're a game out of the wild card lead, so instead of a half a game. That's, they're not looking good right now. They need to do something here against the Mets. They gotta get a spark plug. I'm not saying they're not going to make the postseason with the wild card. They still have a good chance, but it's looking more grim with each day and every series that they lose, and it's very disappointing. It's very upsetting. It's very frustrating because this team is better than this, but they're just not putting it together. Too many guys are getting cold at the same time. It's ridiculous. And again, I like what Nestor Cortes did. I think he's here to stay, and he's got either 3 or 4 more seasons of team control. So that I'm really happy about. And he's only 26 years old. And with that mustache, he looks like he's 42, but he's 26. So I like that. I like that. I do think they need to add starting pitching and obviously relief pitching. Now Britton's out. I don't know if you heard or saw my other video. I put it in the description below. While they were working on Britton's elbow, they found some UCL damage, which is the ligament that generally pertains to Tommy John surgery. They did not do a full Tommy John because it wasn't required, but he's going to miss at least half the season next year. And they've already exercised the mutual option. So he will be back in 2022. And keep in mind, unless he shows he's healthy again, there's no way they're going to trade the guy. It's just like Hicks. There's no way they're going to trade Aaron Hicks, who most of us forgot about because he hasn't played all year. He has to establish being healthy too before anybody can trade him. So those are right there. Heaney should be DFA'd after. Miguel, amen, brother. Amen. This is, Fritz. This is what I'm talking, like adding Gallo. Yeah, exactly. He wasn't. Adam Frazier should have been the guy that they got. Of all those guys, in my opinion, and I like Gallo, he's just not playing well for the Yankees. Adam Frazier, I think, would have made this lineup better with the guys that they already have. Like him in San Diego doesn't make as much sense as him in New York. I think he would have had a greater impact in New York than he's having in San Diego, and that's just my opinion. He would have balanced this lineup out a lot differently than over there, and that lineup is just better in San Diego. I hate to break it to you, but we have high-end guys, but it's just San Diego Padres are way better in offense than the Yankees are right now. So, exactly, Robert. They have to not only start winning, they have to just move things around quite a bit. The starting rotation is carrying this team, and the lineup is killing this team. And it's where the hell's the balance? Where's the balance? And again, where the hell's Cashman and where the hell's Hal Steinbrenner? Why are they not stepping up and facing the fire? Why does it always have to be Aaron Boone? Yes, he needs to face some of it, but not all of it. Those other guys put this team together, not Boone. He's dealing with the hand he was dealt. That's it. That's all he can do. So, Robert, he I know Luis Hill's up here, but there's got to be there's other guys down in AAA that can come up and contribute more than Heaney would. I know they like his stuff, but he'll have 2 dominant strikeouts, and then he'll give up 8 hits and 4 runs. It's like, what the hell is going on? And it's just it doesn't. It's not me. It's just not working here, And I'm glad he's not. Yeah, and as I was just saying it to Adam with Daily Dose. Adam. Well, this is the thing with Frazier. His fit in the San Diego lineup is not the same. He's excess there. He really is excess. They didn't need him. The Yankees needed him. His impact would have been different here because of the construction of this lineup. It's so horrifically constructed. San Diego did not need him, so he's not making the impact that he needs to over there. I think he would have been playing better here. I'll stand by that 100%. But I get what you're saying, Daly. I totally get it. Yeah, I mean, wicked fit. Yeah, call Clark Schmidt. He'll pitch better than Heaney. Let the kid come up and try. Why not? Yeah, well, John Anthony. Yeah, I mean, he does that all the time when he hits a home run. He's got a chip on his shoulder, John. So boy, he really does. But I know I get what you mean. It wasn't the time, to do that. But he does that after every home run. So I'm not really that mad. So, Garcia, Davey. You talking about Davey Garcia, Daly? I mean, he can't even get through AAA lineups right now, unfortunately. So, Schmidt's got a much more live arm, and if he can come up here and give us the inning that Heaney is not giving us, then I'll take that. I mean, wicked 50. I wanted Brian Reynolds over all of them, and I said it so much. Benintendi, he is a possibility this offseason. I mean, he's a possibility. I mean, I wanted Brian Reynolds then, and I still want him now, but it's going to cost a boatload to get him. But yeah, I mean, dude, I would have Peraza up. I would have Allen up. King, I know he's on his way back, so it might make sense to give him a shot. And Schmidt, send some of these other guys out. Britton's got, he's down now, obviously. Give some of these other kids a chance. It's time to do it. And I know they're hanging on for dear life for the wild card spot. I get it, and they're afraid that the kids might not be able to help them. But at some point, these kids have to have an opportunity to see, whether they can hang it here, whether they can hack it here or not. And then, they can't just be career minor leaguers all the time. It only happens with the Yankees. It happens way too often, and it's just ridiculous. We have the pitching, John. I mean, for the most part, and the rotation's been pretty good, with the exception of some injuries and stuff. The rotation's been pretty solid for quite a while now. We need a more consistent lineup. Our pitching is suspect in the bullpen, that's for sure. We need more depth in the bullpen, and I would still add depth to the starting rotation. There's no doubt about it. And yeah, like I'm just saying, you bench Voit way too often. Just DH the guy and play Rizzo at first base and keep Stanton in the outfield. And then give Voit a day off every now and then. You put Stanton at DH, all right? Or give Stanton a day off and you put Voit at first base and you make Rizzo to DH. You can rotate these guys. It's possible. It is possible. And you give Gallo a day off. You put freaking Greg Allen out there, Estevan Florial. Come on. I mean, come on. I'm optimistic too, but I'm more optimistic about Volpe, Andrew, and Peraza and some of these other guys. They have some good-looking prospects, but are the Yankees going to give them a chance, or is it still going to do this nonstop haggling thing about, if we keep them this long, we get another year of control and play? Just play the kids. Let them play. Who cares about this extra year of team control? You're wasting them down there. So well, I agree, Laurie. I agree with that. The pen is gas. How many times that they've used 5, 6, 7, 8 pitchers a season, a game this year? Way too many times. So you make a great point, Laurie. The pen is gassed. A lot of these guys are gassed. And that's where Clark Schmidt comes in handy and some of these other guys, right? You give them a chance. Severino, if he's healthy and can pitch, put him in the bullpen. Give these other guys a break. I don't see. This is where the analytics side confuses me, because some of the, his analytics and his instincts, his common sense, it needs to be a balance of all of them. And I don't always agree with the analytics component because I think it's bereft of common sense sometimes. I get the value of it, but again, analytics at the expense of common sense and just fundamental baseball instincts, not always so good, especially with the Yankees. In my opinion, there needs to be balance of everything, and there's not with the Yankees, and that's pretty obvious. King would be King too, man. King too, young. Just put him in there. Long relief, something. Spots at least something. Give these guys a break. Ease Tyon back, and he's got, it's a partially torn ankle ligament in his ankle. You put Kenny, let him ease a guy like Tyon back. It'll help preserve his arm too, because he's already thrown a lot of innings. Luis Hill just had a bad game, Nelson. I mean, he didn't have his control or his command. He only gave up, I think it was 1 hit, but he walked 7 guys. And he had 6 strikeouts, but he was just he was all over the place. But he needs to face adversity like this we need to see how he responds to adversity. He's still a young, developing pitcher, so I wouldn't really worry about them. And I think the Yankees need to be smart and just, methodical with him and just gradually bring him along. And don't throw him to the great white sharks just yet. I'm not expecting him to be in the rotation this year. I mean, next year or whatnot as a mainstay. That's why I would bring in 2 free agent starters and just ease him along and you gradually phase him in. So, yeah, I mean, the Blue Jays, Eminem, yeah, I mean, a double M. I think the Blue Jays are going to make some moves this offseason. I'm very confident of that. They're so far under the threshold in terms of payroll. They have plenty of money to spend. So does Tampa. Both of them are going to make moves, and I expect Boston to make moves too. So the Yankees are going to have to make quite a few. Thankfully, they're going to reset the threshold component because they've gotten under 210. So that'll be good for them. It gives them some flexibility. But they need to be as aggressive. They need and see, this is the thing. And I've said this a lot. I don't want the Yankees to always have the best offseason. I want them to strike first, beat these people to the punch, and prevent them from getting the guys that the Yankees want to get or the Yankees should get. And then the Yankees have to go somewhere else to get somebody else, and then it's just not a match. Get these guys first. Jump. Even if you have to do a slight overpay with some people, just do it. That's the whole point of the farm system. You overpay some it happens across the board. Cashman gets people to overpay. Cashman's going to need to overpay in return. He gets guys that he wants. But be first on occasion instead of waiting to try to be best. Being first is it can be so beneficial, man. So beneficial. And but yeah, Fritz, 100%. That's how they manufacture runs. They're on their nonstop, relentless lineup hits, base hits, double singles, and they turn into home runs too. They're all over the place. That lineup is relentless, absolutely relentless. And this is why when Yankees manufacturing runs, that's why you have Greg Allen in there. That's why you have some of these other guys who actually are base stealing machines. You get guys in there that actually steal and do other things, and then allow the guys, to other guys to come in. And then that's why we need more contact guys too, instead of power hitters, because generally our power hitters all go on slumps at the same freaking time. And then there's no one else to replace them. If we don't have contact hitters, there's nobody driving the guys that get on base and steal bases. That's why we need more contact hitters too, to prevent us from getting to these stupid losing streaks all the time. It's just, and it's the thing when our sluggers are cold, they're ice cold. Ice cold. It's crazy, man. Absolutely nuts. So, yeah, I mean, Jordan, who would you replace Boone with? I'm curious. I'm really curious to see what people think of that. I mean, there's a lot of folks that want Boone gone, and I get it. But who would we replace him with is the question. That actually has the right temperament and skill set and age and so on to replace him with. That's the thing. That's the thing. Who's the right fit? And yeah, Marcel. Marcel, 100%, man, 100%. And we have to make the right moves. Yeah, Fritz, 100%, man. Contact hitting, more pitching depth. At the very least this offseason. At the very least, the minimum this offseason has to be that. Contact hitting, versatility, athleticism, all wrapped up into one. That's why, if I were to cash, I would go nuts. I would go after Ketel Marte and Brian Reynolds. I'd give up a boatload for both. But it would completely help overhaul the freaking lineup. And if you could do it without giving up Volpe, I would give up Peraza. If you could do it, I would give him Davy Garcia. I would give him, quite a bunch, quite a big package for both. But if you can get both, oh my God, that would change everything. It would also give them flexibility to move Aaron Judge if they wanted to. Okay, because they can get the boatload of prospects that they're going to give out for those two guys. They would recoup a bunch of them if they move Judge. And then it would make the Yankees lineup younger, more athletic, more versatile. Yeah, I've thought about Theo too, Laurie. He's a big exec now in the major leagues. I don't know if he's going to come back to a GM role. I don't know if he would think it would be a major step back, but it would be intriguing. It really would be intriguing if Theo Epstein said, you know what, I'm going to try to turn the Yankees into a dynasty. Like, if he came here, I wouldn't be complaining at all. He's a smart dude. He knows how to build a team. Like, he's did it with Boston. He did it with Chicago. So I would have no problem with Theo Epstein coming here. I don't care if he was over there with Boston. I don't care. So I have no hate, man. New pitching coach. Well, it depends. I mean, Matt Blake has actually done some pretty good stuff here. Bullpens, we suffered way too many injuries. And the lack of depth on the starting pitching side put extra stress for the first half of the season, put extra stress on the bullpen. Then we had too many bullpen games. And like Lori said, the bullpen got gassed towards the end of the season. So that's not necessarily Matt Blake's fault. He didn't run Luis Severino into the ground that required Tommy John. He didn't destroy these guys. Like, he didn't do anything with Taillon. They inherited Taillon this offseason. He kind of revolutionized Taillon. So it's just, yeah, I mean, I think he's one of the longest tenured GMs, Cashman. It's been 20 plus years. So, and it's been almost 25. He's got 5 championships in 25 years now. So that's the most of any GM. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, this is, it's like Andrew said too. I don't think Boone deserves the full blame here. I just don't think it's unfair, because when they're winning, the players get all the credit, right? Oh, their players are hot. When they're losing, Boone gets all the fire. I don't think it's fair. It's got to be a balanced approach of credit and blame, And Mike Scioscia, Marcel, interesting, intriguing. He's a catcher too, and he's got good experience, and he won a championship with the Angels as well. I don't know if he'd come back and manage. I mean, I'd be curious. But yeah, I mean, replace balanced offensive attack with speed and those Angels with David Eckstein, Joan Figgins, Howie, those teams, and Jim Edmonds, and all these guys, they drove the Yankees. They used to kill the Yankees all the time. K-Rod, it was just nuts. And this was pre-Trout. And the Angels are so much better. And Troy Percival, they dominated, man. They won a title too. I don't remember the year that was, 2005, I don't know, somewhere around there, 2006. They did win a title. And they had really good teams, man. And they did give the Yankees fits. But that's the type of players that the Yankees need, man. They need a bunch of them, not just one or two. They need a bunch of them. Table setters. And they just need pesky players. Like when the Marlins had Juan Pierre and what the hell is it, Luis Castillo. And they drove the Yankees nuts in the World Series. The Yankees couldn't stop them. It was relentless in 2003. They just destroyed the Yankees in the World Series. And that was the year that Boone hit that home run to put them in the World Series. Sessa, yeah, I mean, I really hope this young pitcher pans out, Jason Parker, in the Sessa Wilson trade. But Sessa, having Sessa here right now would have been nice. Would have been really nice, especially with Johnny Lasagna down, and it would have been really, really nice. So he was very reliable. So, but a new hitting coach, I think, is the sentiment, I think, across the board. If anybody's going to go this offseason, it's probably going to be Marcus Timms. Boone, yeah, I mean, Boone's kind of the guy that's just, he's pulling the strings and he's having his own strings pulled. So, Alfonso Soriano, he was there, Iraqi Freedom, today. He was at the game. He was also at Jeter's Hall of Fame ceremony as well. He was longtime friends with Jeter. So was Gerald Williams. And Correa. Yes, Nelson is as intriguing as it is. He's got that stink of the cheating scandal on him. I don't know that he would come here. But if they traded Torres, either two things are going to happen, in my opinion. One, they're going to bring in a stopgap shortstop because they want to play Volpe or Peraza at shortstop, or they're going to bring in one of those big guys. I mean, Correa is not my first choice. Corey Seager is. He's a lefty. He's young. He's just as young as Correa, but I can see the logic of bringing in Correa. I don't know about the stink of the Astros thing. I don't know, but he's good, man. He's a superstar. There's no doubt about it. Either one of them is going to cost a boatload of money, absolute ton of money, probably 10-year deal. And if Lindor got a 10-year deal, there's no way these guys don't get a 10-year deal. So, at the end of the day, I think it's going to be the Yankees and Red Sox that make it, but It's going to go right down to the wire. Would I be surprised if it was Red Sox, Blue Jays, Yankees, Blue Jays? No, not at all. I think it's going to go right down to the wire. So it's hard for me to predict it too right now because the Blue Jays are hot right now and the Yankees are cold. So, and that's the thing. The hot cold thing is crazy. Davey, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's, yeah, I mean, well, building, yeah, I get it, man, Miguel. If they re-sign Rizzo, then he's a good contact hitter, a good building block. He's still young. He's got great leadership intangibles. He's only 31. He's going to be 32. But keep in mind, I'm leery of giving 32-year-olds big deals. Like Judge's deal is going to be gigantic. But Rizzo's probably going to cost $70, $80 million as well. They need to invest in a lot of pitching this offseason while they still develop guys like Luis Hill. And, man, we do need Johnny Lasagna back, no doubt about it. And, Alex, I won't be surprised at all if the Yankees miss the playoffs. Be disappointed, but I won't be surprised the way that they're playing. I hate saying it, but it's true. I hate feeling that way too. And Miguel, yeah, Correa does back up his mouth with his play. I get it. And he does. He's really good. He's a superstar. So if he came here at the end of the day, I'm not going to complain. Like, I'm not going to hate the guy. But they better if they're going to move Torres, they better trade him. If they're going to trade him, better trade him for something good. Starting pitcher or something, a pitching prospect. They better trade him for something good, not just give up crap for him. So it's it. Alex Rodriguez. Oh, I think Marcel, intriguing an idea. I think Alex Rodriguez should come in here as like I don't know about a coach, but like a consultant or something like that. And definitely a spring training instructor. Hitting coach might be a possibility. I don't know. Might be. He's one of the best hitters of all time. So, with or without the juice. And this is the thing too about Andrew. Like Andrew bringing out a long-term, doling out an 8 or 10-year deal for a shortstop. At a big, huge deal would prevent them from investing a lot in pitching, which is what they need to do. So a stopgap guy for a year or two. Simeon is intriguing. A couple of people have mentioned him, but the way he's playing, he's going to justify getting himself a big deal. So if you can get him on a 2-year deal, I would jump all over it, even if you gave him big money for 2 years, all over it. But I don't know. Hitting coach, yes, Daly. Another good starting pitcher. I think we need 2, just for depth purposes, Daly. Starting pitcher, so this. Glaber to the Reds. The Yankees turned down Glaber for Castillo straight up. And I don't know if they're kicking themselves now. But that was the trade to make. I don't know. Torres' value is down too, so it's going to be really hard. They're going to have to add something to Torres if they want to get Castillo, unfortunately. But yeah, it's true. A-Rod is now an owner, so he won't be able to be a coach at the Yankees, for the Yankees. But actually, no, I think he's an owner of the basketball team now, Minnesota Timberwolves, not the Twins. If I'm correct, but we'll see. And Fritz too. Missing the playoffs could be a bitter pill to swallow, but it could be exactly what they need to kind of reset themselves. So, but they better reset themselves, and they better do it. They better be smart and aggressive about it if they're going to do that. They really do. Paul O'Neill. I think they would. I remember when Tino Martinez became the hitting coach, if it was the Marlins or the Tampa Bay Rays. People said he was crazy. He didn't make it past the year. They fired him because he was way too intense. He was like berating players, and I don't know if I could see people being scared, terrified of Paul O'Neill too, just scaring the living shit out of players. But well, Castillo was bad early on, and then he turned himself around. I don't know how he's doing recently, the past couple of weeks, but he became his normal self again, heading into the All-Star break and just after the All-Star break. So, but he struggled quite a bit in early in the season. Yes, he did. Berrios would have been a good pickup too. That sucks that the Blue Jays got him. Berrios would have been a nice pickup for the Yankees. Really, and I was hoping for him too, but didn't happen, unfortunately. Windsor, the Yankees definitely need, to get a little bit younger, a little bit more athletic, a little bit more hungry. But not every player needs to be a higher paid superstar. It doesn't need to be that way. And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't. Even though they have the most money, it doesn't mean they always have to spend it. Invest more in scouting. Like, scout more international players. Like, find out like why these other teams are doing so well at scouting. Like the Tampa Bay Rays, their scouting and development department are phenomenal. A bunch of them went to the Dodgers and the Padres. So the Yankees got some too, but the Yankees just aren't doing it the same way. So soccer plays, yeah, Delhi, yeah, he would, yeah, no doubt about it. Oh man, yeah. I mean, if I was a betting man too, Chop, I bet cash in Boone return also. But I would probably be willing to bet that Thames would be out. Tim's would be out. The way that they're going now, I could see him being out. Probably like the day that the season ends, the next day, Tim's fired. I could see that. And I'm seeing it's starting to become more apparent to me, like by the day. Yeah, Rays, yeah, I mean, good development. White Sox too, yeah, and deep, young, dynamic teams, and they're also extending guys early. Like they give Luis Robert a 6 or 7 year deal at 20 years old. So he's locked up through his prime, most of his prime, and it's and it's gonna be worth it. It's like $10 million a year instead of waiting for them to turn 28 and then having to give them 200. Some of these guys could be, if they're that good, lock them up early. Now we don't have to worry about arbitration years because they're going to keep getting more expensive and more expensive and more expensive. So, like Judge now, he's going through arbitration. He's going to be $20 million next year plus do arbitration. That's crazy. Yeah, and I think Blake would do a good job with Miguel. I agree. I think Blake would do a good job with Castillo. I really do. He's got nasty stuff, and the Yankees needed a legitimate number 2 behind Cole. No doubt about it. Imagine they traded for Castillo and then brought in the Rodon this offseason. I'd be ecstatic. Ecstatic. So, yeah, batting average, on-base percentage, draw more walks, move guys over, bunt, steal bases, like the little things that just add up, man. The compounding effect of guys manufacturing runs, like on a regular basis. It's underrated, man, but it's underutilized by the Yankees, I should say. And yeah, Nestor Cortes. That's why the title is he's a keeper. He is. He's earned it, man. It's been great for the Yankees. He's been really great. I mean, and he's cleaning up a lot of these messes for the lineups and just keeping them in the game. And he's using skill and balls and like savvy, and he's a crafty pitcher, man. He reminds me of David Wells. I mean, he's just got a rubber arm. He can continue to throw and throw and throw. And he's not a power pitcher, but he's got good stuff, and he gets guys out, and he doesn't get pounded. And it's just, yeah. I mean, it's. I think his value is underrated too. His value is underrated, and it's just I hope that he continues to play. I hope that he continues to pitch the way he's pitching here, and. And I hope that he gets run support, and I hope the Yankees continue to, build towards giving these pitchers run support, what they're not doing now. And it's just, Dale, you asking me what WOBA, the weighted on-base percentage, is sabermetrics. Sabermetrics, but it's not the only important stat. It's not the only important stat. I don't know why they got rid of Cockrell, James. I don't know. It's a good question. Thames is not really doing. He was not a great hitting coach here, unfortunately. He's done some things with some guys, but not overall. The overall body of work isn't great. So Liam Hendricks would have been nice at the deadline too, Lorenzo. Yeah. Miguel Hunter. We need a legit number 2. I've been saying it for years, man. For at least a year, I should say. And this is the thing, Fritz. I don't think Cashman should be like the winter meetings. He should be all over this stuff. Not until February. Winter meetings is in December. I would be jumping all over guys. The day the free agency starts, your number 1 target, be at the front of the guy's house. Like the time when CC Sabathia was a free agent in 2008, he was at the front door of his house, and as soon as the midnight bell struck, he called him. He's like, "Can you let me in? I'm in front of you. I'm on your front porch." That's what this guy needs to do. You go after your first target. a regular stat that you believe is better than WOBA. There's so many stats are important. There's no point comparing, sabermetrics and other things. If I wanted to watch a movie on how to not win the World Series, I'll watch Moneyball. Okay, because all the analytics and all that stuff, sabermetrics, has not won them a ring, not one, since they've implemented it, not one. Payroll aside, they've had talent come through. They've had all these guys. They never keep them. So that's why I don't rely on weighted on base percentage or certain OPS. There's a combination of things. They're all important. But so is good fundamental baseball. None of these stats are important when they're growing up, when they're developing these skills in high school, college. They don't matter. They only matter now in major leagues. And it's just, again, it's a balance of a bunch of things across the board. So no, I mean, I don't think any stat's more important than the other stat daily. I don't. That's just the way I feel about it. Rays have no World Series wins. No, they've been to 2 of them recently. The A's have not. So, and again, the Rays aren't obsessed with Moneyball sabermetrics. They use it, but that's not the only thing that they use. And if I were to bet who would win a World Series first, I would bet the Rays instead over the A's. And the Rays also play in a much tougher league than the A's do too. So that's my opinion. But again, I mean, James and the Dodgers. I mean, they're like, look, we're going to go over the threshold because we're going to win so much money. We're going to make so much money when we win the World Series. And that's what they do. I mean, they win World Series. They bring in boatloads of revenue. They have monster investors too. So, and I see the logic in both. But Hal is so much different than his dad. George didn't care. We're going to go over the payroll. I don't care. I'm going to get who I want to get, and we're going to win. He had this kind of a similar mindset that the Dodgers do. Hal's completely different. He's got this like Wall Streeted down. And it's the whole, how many dollars can I squeak out of this, out of that? It's so much austerity, and it's just ridiculous. So, he spends sometimes he spends, sometimes he doesn't. But I got to give Cashman credit. He's really crafty with how they spent the money at the deadline. So he got a lot out of, he hardly spent anything, and he brought in a lot of stuff, a lot of personnel. So again, both ends, which trade, including, I don't know. I mean, they pulled out of a trade like 2 minutes before. The acquiring team pulled out of the void trade 2 minutes before the deadline. So I don't know. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. And I looked. I have no idea what the hell they were sending them. I mean, I don't know. Should we get a veteran number 2? Miguel, I would, honestly, that's one reason, like I said, a Verlander and a Rodon, veteran and a young guy. And they're both would be number 2s here. So that's why, I mean, Verlander on a moderate salary, high incentive deal, if he's willing to accept it. And then a Rodon and again, Rodon's represented by Scott Boras, so he's going to cost some money, but there's the young and old veteran guy. I would bring in 2 starting pitchers regardless of what happens, because I do not foresee Severino being a mainstay in the rotation. I don't. It's better off in the bullpen at this point. But I appreciate it, Chop. I appreciate it. George was always trying to win. Yeah, again, he got himself into trouble because he had a big mouth, but he was passionate. He loved his team. He bought the Yankees, like a shipping business, and he bought the Yankees for $8 million. And look, they're worth $5 billion now. So the return on investment for George, he was a genius. But that's when you love your product, you turn it into something special, and that's the bottom line. And that's what George Steinbrenner did, and he spoke. That's one thing I don't think his sons have. That intangible. We need somebody that has that type of intangible. So, that's where it frustrates the hell out of me. Yeah, I can see Sevy as a closer too, Miguel, 100%. Cashman, with some, yeah, I mean, they have to invest in player development and scouting, 100%. I think they need to invest in both. So, quite a bit this offseason, and keep bringing in international guys, and Britton Deal is not as bad as Ellsbury, James, but Britton Deal is, but he was dominant here for 3 seasons before he got hurt. So I'll give Britton that. Look, if you look at his stats, sub 2 ERA, he was really, really good. Then he got hurt this year, and it just all turned to crap. So Hicks, it still remains to be seen. He has 5 years left on his deal, but the production that he just justified that contract. At least it's not $150 million. I mean, his deal was, a little more than a third of what Ellsbury's deal was. So here's $60 million. Ellsbury was 7 years, I think 153. That was a complete albatross. He only played like 3 years or 2.5 years out of the 7. So if Hicks gets healthy and he produces, okay. If they trade him, it's easier to trade a Hicks contract than it would be an Ellsbury contract. But they need to get money, more better investment on there, better return on their investments. That's for sure. But I am going to wrap it up, guys. We're going off 40 minutes. I appreciate you all being on here. By the way, I have a bunch. I don't know if it's just something I just want to plug. I have a couple of other YouTube channels, and I put them in I'm trying to go full time with YouTube, and I want to use those to kind of finance this channel so I can continue to do more things here for free and spend more time building this channel. So if you wouldn't mind just subscribing to the other channels, even if you don't plan on watching all the videos, I would greatly appreciate it. It's called, one of them's Film Top. You'll see it down below. The other one's Fuego News Central. They're all about TV shows and celebrities. They're all fun and stuff like that, but they're going to help me make this channel better. So if you wouldn't mind supporting it by subscribing, it would really be greatly appreciated. So, but I always thank you. You guys are the best, and I appreciate you. And we'll be back here tomorrow for the Mets game. So hopefully at some point the Yankees win a freaking game. But enjoy your night. Love you guys. Talk to you next time.